Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Preeti Kaur. Coming up in the next 30 minutes, France's Macron tells Israel's Netanyahu about the need for durable ceasefire as Israel launches heavy strikes across Hamas targets in Gaza. India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar meets Russian President Vladimir Putin in Moscow. Russian President Putin invites India's Prime Minister Modi to visit Russia. Jacques Delors, father of European integration, dies at 98. South Africa takes the lead on the second day of the Test match against India after an unbeaten century from veteran Dean Elgar and 50 on debut from David Bedingham. Let's get you an update on Israel-Hamas conflict first. Israel is expanding its ground offensive into Gaza as it warns the war with Hamas will last for months. Heavy fighting is also continuing in the south, in the city of Khan Yunis. Israeli military spokesman Daniel Hagari said on Wednesday that troops were working in several areas of Gaza, particularly around Al-Burej and Khan Yunis, which are described as a terror base for Hamas.
In the south, we are working in several areas of Gaza. One is called Al-Burej. It is an area in the central refugee camps. We are on the third day of attack there, and we are killing many terrorists and destroying terror infrastructure. The second is Khan Yunis in the southern strip, a central terror base of Hamas. There we have expanded our activity, and today we have added another brigade, and we are continuing to act there with the use of new military tactics above the ground and underneath.
Plumes of smoke rose over the border area between Israel and Lebanon on Wednesday as tension between the two countries remained high. The border between the two nations has seen escalating exchanges of fire, mainly between Israeli army and Hamas ally Hezbollah, since terror group Hamas attacked southern Israel on October 7th. Earlier, Israel said Hezbollah fired anti-tank missiles at a church on the Lebanon border on Tuesday, wounding 9 Israeli soldiers and a civilian, after which it fired rockets, drawing retaliatory airstrikes. Israel's emergency minister Benny Gantz on Wednesday warned Lebanon to stop Hezbollah attacks on northern Israel. In a televised address, Gantz said that the situation on Israel's northern border must change as the time for diplomacy is running out.
The situation on Israel's northern border demands change. The stopwatch for a diplomatic solution is running out. If the world and the Lebanese government don't act in order to prevent the firing on Israel's northern residents and to distance Hezbollah from the border, the IDF will do it.
French President Emmanuel Macron, during a call with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, demanded a lasting ceasefire in Gaza. French President told the Israeli Premier of his deepest concern about civilian deaths and the humanitarian emergency in Gaza. The French presidency, in a statement, said that France will work in the coming days in cooperation with Jordan to carry out humanitarian operations in Gaza. The U.S. government on Tuesday announced a $250 million military assistance package for Ukraine. The aid package, the final of 2023, will include arms and equipment, including air defense munitions, anti-terror munitions, ammunition for high-mobility artillery rocket systems, and more than 15 million rounds of small arms ammunition. Congress has approved more than $110 billion for Ukraine since Russia's attack on Ukraine, but it has not approved any funds since Republicans took control of the House of Representatives from the Democrats in January this year. Jacques Delors, a former European Commission president and founding father of European Union's historic single currency project, died on Wednesday at the age of 98. Delors' daughter, Martine Aubry, said that her father died in his sleep at his Parisian home. Serving from 1985 to 1995, Delors served as president of the European Commission, the EU executive, for 3 terms, longer than any other holder of the office. During Delors' dynamic decade as the Commission chief, he helped create the single market, allowing free movement of people, goods and services within the bloc. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken is in Mexico to tackle a surge in illegal migration. On Wednesday, America's top diplomat met President Andrés Manuel López Obrador in the Mexican capital at a time when border crossings into the U.S. are hitting record numbers, with often as many as 10,000 migrants reaching the southern border per day, and as thousands more trek through the Mexico City towards the United States. Benji Haya gets us more.
This caravan of migrants and asylum seekers, the latest of an increasingly common phenomenon, is still hundreds of kilometres from the US-Mexico border, but it's already causing a major political headache for the Biden administration. Antony Blinken and his delegation of Homeland Security officials have this week been asking their Mexican counterparts to help stem the flow of people from Central and South American nations travelling to the United States by, for example, controlling transport routes or providing incentives for them not to journey further north. The White House is also requesting lawmakers here approve a financial package that includes extra funding for border security. Yet that remains stalled in Congress. No negotiations are scheduled until the new year. Mexico's president says the US government should offer more support to Latin America instead of, in his words, putting up barriers and building walls. The migration issue, he added, is only going to intensify and could well be top of the agenda during the election campaign stateside in 2024. Now, illegal immigration has been a consistent vulnerability for President Joe Biden, who promised on his first day in office to, quote, restore humanity and American values to the immigration system, following his predecessor Donald Trump's policies designed to restrict arrivals. Trump, running for the Oval Office again, won the presidency in 2016 with a pledge to build a wall on the Mexican border, claiming rapists were being sent across it. He's recently faced criticism for saying that immigrants are poisoning the blood of the country and are coming from mental institutions, but he denies claims that his rhetoric mimics that used by the Nazis. Benji Haya in Washington, reporting for DD India.
The New York Times has filed a lawsuit against OpenAI and Microsoft on claims of copyright infringement. The newspaper claims its articles were used to train artificial intelligence programs. William Denslow reports from New York.
According to reports, the New York Times held talks earlier this year with Microsoft and OpenAI to try and find an amicable resolution to this dispute. Ultimately, that wasn't proven to be successful, the New York Times moving forward with a lawsuit that's been filed in Manhattan's Federal District Court. The newspaper claims that the two tech firms created products that are taking audiences away from the newspaper. It also alleges that millions of New York Times articles have been used by the tech firms to train automated chatbots. OpenAI claims that the use of articles is protected under fair use. According to investors, OpenAI, the creator of ChatGPT, is worth over $80 billion. Microsoft, for its part, has invested $13 billion into the AI tech company. Now, this is the first time that a major media company has filed a lawsuit of this kind, but isn't the first time that some people have filed lawsuits with regard to the use of intellectual property and artificial intelligence. A number of authors, as well as comedian Sarah Silverman, have filed lawsuits against AI companies because of the use of their intellectual property, they claim, in the training of artificial intelligence. Now, according to some analysts, these kind of disputes, because this technology is just so new, could wind up being fought in the US Supreme Court. This lawsuit filed by the New York Times doesn't specify how much they're seeking from these tech giants, but according to the lawsuit, the New York Times is seeking billions of dollars in damages. William Denslow in New York, reporting for DD India.
After more Rohingya refugees arrived by boat in Indonesia on Wednesday, students staged a protest calling on the government to expel them. The protest came as police named more suspects in human trafficking. Since November, more than 1,500 Rohingyas have arrived in Aceh on the tip of Sumatra, having fled violent attacks in Myanmar and now are leaving camps in neighboring Bangladesh in search of better lives. At least 40 people have died in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo due to heavy downpour causing floods and landslides. Residents were digging through mud to find bodies, with at least 20 deaths in Bukavu and 20 more in Birini village. Poor urban planning and weak infrastructure make hard-scrabble communities more vulnerable to extreme rainfall, which is becoming more intense and frequent in Africa due to warming temperatures. UN climate experts warn of increased vulnerability in these communities. A man in northern Italy may regain hand function after a severe road accident led to nerve transfer operation from his partially amputated leg. Surgeons at Turin City Hospital transferred part of the man's sciatic nerve to his brachial plexus, connecting the spinal cord to his shoulder, arm and hand. In more international news, Nepal's Tusker festival, Hati Mahotsav, features caparisoned elephants in a beauty contest. The event, held in Sauraha, attracts hundreds of visitors. Judges assess cleanliness, discipline, obedience, decoration and more. The Chitwan Elephant Festival returns after a 3-year hiatus due to the pandemic. The event raises awareness about elephants. A truck driver in Palm Beach County, Florida, was rescued from an accident after losing control of his 18-wheeler while hauling scrap material. The driver, who was transported to a local hospital with no serious injuries, gestured to the sky in gratitude after being rescued. The incident shut down a part of Florida Turnpike. We are heading for a short break, but still to come on this edition of DD India Live. AIIMS of Delhi issued guidelines for suspected COVID cases following the sudden surge in the country. Amid the excitement, Ayodhya railway station renamed. We will tell you the details ahead. An Indian women's cricket team faces Australia in the first one-day international match in Mumbai.
Well, 2023 is about to end, but it gave us a lot of memories to cherish, especially in the world of cinema. World really went Natu Natu on the peppy beats of the famous movie RRR that got global recognition. Everything, Everywhere, All at Once, that completely dominated the 95th Academy Awards. The remarkable career of Michael Douglas and the legend of Bollywood, Waheeda Rehman, was bestowed with the most iconic Dada Saheb Phalke Lifetime Achievement Award.
Watch Echoes 2023 World Goes Natu Natu at these times on 28th of December only on DD India.
Welcome back after the break. You're watching DD India Live and I'm Preeti. India's External Affairs Minister Dr. Jaishankar held talks with Russian President Vladimir Putin in Moscow on Wednesday. Discussions were held on a wide range of issues, including the Ukraine conflict.
With an aim to take the Russia-India partnership to new heights, India's External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar held talks with Russian President Vladimir Putin in Moscow on Wednesday. During the meeting, President Putin invited India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi to visit Russia, saying it will give both countries an opportunity to discuss all current issues and also explore the scope of future bilateral ties.
We will be glad to see our friend, Mr. Prime Minister Modi, in Russia. We will be able to discuss all current issues and talk about the prospects for the development of Russian-Indian relations. We have a lot of work to do, so I ask you to convey to him my best wishes and please pass on our invitation. We are waiting for him in Russia.
As soon as the meeting began, the Russian president highlighted Prime Minister Narendra Modi's willingness to do his best to resolve the Ukraine crisis peacefully.
We know the position of Prime Minister Modi, and we have spoken about this more than once. His position regarding his attitude towards complex processes, including flashpoint areas and the situation in Ukraine.
In his remarks, External Affairs Minister Jaishankar conveyed the warm greetings of Prime Minister Modi and handed over a personal message to President Putin.
First of all, please allow me to convey the personal greetings of Prime Minister Modi. He has also, through me, sent a letter to you, a letter expressing his thoughts about the state of our cooperation and the progress that we have made in recent days, and I will have the honor to give you the letter. Certainly, Mr. President, he looks forward to visiting Russia next year.
External Affairs Minister Jaishankar, who is on a 5-day visit to Russia, also had a comprehensive and a productive meeting with his Russian counterpart, Sergei Lavrov, on Wednesday. As strategic partners, discussions were also held on international situations and contemporary issues, including defense partnerships. With Anita Raj, Amit Mukherjee for DD India.
India ranks third with 72 unicorns valued at $195.75 billion. India is emerging as the epicenter of innovation and economic transformation. Tapas Bhattacharya gets us the details.
India is scripting a narrative of economic resurgence like never before. Join me as we unravel India's startup success story and how it's impacting the whole world in this special report. In the heart of innovation, India emerges as a powerhouse, charting an economic trajectory that rivals the best. Fueling this economic accent is India's dynamic startup ecosystem, a breeding ground for unicorns. Over 112,000 startups have come up since 2014, propelling the nation into a global hub of ideas and cutting-edge technologies. As India transitions from service-oriented to a beacon of product innovation, its GDP is poised to surge 5 to 10% by 2030. A surge fueled by rising household incomes expected to reach new heights, with 50% of households projected to earn over $6,000 by 2030. The startup ecosystem, a catalyst for this transformation, has burgeoned with more than 100,000 startups since 2014, turning the nation into a hotbed of ideas and groundbreaking technologies. Over 23 million households are expected to earn more than $12,000, further contributing to economic growth. Tier 2 cities are becoming tech hubs, fostering the innovation beyond traditional landscapes. Government initiatives like Startup India have nurtured over 114,000 startups, creating over 1.2 million jobs.
The success of Bharat in the global startup ranking reflects a transformation from a mindset of uncertainty to the possibility. Now you can experience a journey from it can't be to it can be. And thank you Bharat Sarkar, thank you Sri Modi ji. And because of that, now we can dare to be a Vyapari from Karmachari.
ये साल 2023 आईटी इंडस्ट्री और स्टार्टअप के नज़रिए से हम एक बेहतर साल कह सकते हैं, क्योंकि कोविड के बाद जो सबसे ज़्यादा इम्पैक्ट आया था वो छोटे और जो स्टार्टअप की जो कंपनियां थी ये सबसे ज़्यादा इम्पैक्ट हुई थी. बट थैंक्स टू इंडियन गवर्नमेंट पॉलिसीज़ एंड स्पेशली थैंक्स टू मोदी जी, जिन्होंने समय रहते ही बहुत बेहतरीन पॉलिसीज़ बनाई और उसको अप्लाई भी किया.
1,300 new tech startups coming up in 2019 alone. Women entrepreneurs play a crucial role, constituting 14% of the startup ecosystem, marking a significant increase from the previous years. With a consistent annual growth of 12 to 15%, the startup surge is reshaping economic landscapes. The stage is set for a new era of progress, innovation, and economic prowess, with Indian startups at the forefront of shaping the nation's destiny. Tapas Bhattacharya's report, DD India.
India's public sector bank, State Bank of India, raised interest rates on fixed deposits by up to 0.5% across all deposits. For short-term deposits between 7 days to 45 days, the interest rate has been increased by 50 basis points from 3% to 3.5%. The bank's move to raise interest rates on deposits below Rs 20 million is likely to be followed by other lenders. A fixed deposit is an investment instrument where an amount is deposited with banks for a set period and at a fixed rate of interest. These changes in interest rates by State Bank of India aim to provide better returns to depositors on their FDs. With the once-in-a-lifetime event, the consecration ceremony of Ram Temple in Ayodhya scheduled on January 22nd, and the excitement of people is rising higher with each passing day. Indian Railways too has chipped in to do something for Ram Lalla and Ayodhya, as the Ayodhya railway station has been given a huge makeover and renamed as Ayodhya Dham Junction, another much appreciated change. It will be inaugurated on 30th of December by Prime Minister Narendra Modi along with Maryada Purushottam Shri Ram International Airport. And the much-awaited Ram Temple is all set to welcome Ram Lalla on January 22nd, with every state chipping in to devote something special in the honor of Lord Ram and the special day. Following the trend, Tamil Nadu is sending 42 large bells that will adorn the Ram Temple, meticulously prepared by skilled artisans from Andal Moulding Works of Namakkal district, weighing a total of 1,250 kilograms and individually weighing between 2 to 2.5 tons. These bells are on their way to Ayodhya from Bengaluru after a special puja ceremony. Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath of the North Indian state of Uttar Pradesh is scheduled to visit Ayodhya on Thursday to take stock of the preparations and other arrangements ahead of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's arrival on December 30th for the inauguration of Maryada Purushottam Shri Ram International Airport and Ayodhya Dham Junction. Chief Minister Yogi will also hold a review meeting with the officials regarding Prime Minister Modi's arrival. India's Viksit Bharat Sankalp Yatra is a journey being undertaken across the country. The aim is to attain saturation of flagship schemes of the government by ensuring that the benefits of these schemes reach all the targeted beneficiaries in a time-bound manner. A program featuring India's Prime Minister's dialogue with beneficiaries was broadcast at all the Gram Panchayats and urban areas of Bikaner district in Rajasthan on a Wednesday. Special efforts were made to ensure that the Prime Minister's message reached as many people as possible, including through Rajasthan Language Literature Academy's Muralidhar Vyas Colony. Camps were set up at Gram Panchayats to facilitate the smooth dissemination of the Prime Minister's message. District-level programs were also organized at Udaramsar and in the city at Literature Academy, where people had the opportunity to receive information about central schemes. Hundreds of people from Block Barnoti in Kathua, Jammu and Kashmir attended the Viksit Bharat Sankalp Yatra at Panchayat Tehrara. Several beneficiaries who were present expressed their views and shared their success stories in the segment Meri Kahani, Meri Zubani. A quick look at other stories making it to the headlines today from India. The All India Institute of Medical Sciences, that is AIIMS in Delhi, has issued guidelines for COVID-19 suspected or positive cases that will be reported at hospitals following the sudden surge of the cases of COVID in the country. As per the policy on COVID testing, testing will be done for patients with severe acute respiratory infections like symptoms that include acute respiratory infection, persistent fever and with cough, and onset within last 10 days. To support the farmers, India's Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs approved minimum support price for copra, which is the dried white flesh of the coconut from which coconut oil is extracted, for 2024 season. The MSP for 2024 season is an increase of 300 rupees per quintal for million copra and 250 rupees per quintal for ball copra over the previous season. In a tragic accident, at least 12 passengers were killed and 14 were injured after a bus collided with a truck and caught fire in the central Indian state of Madhya Pradesh. The injured have been admitted to the nearest hospital and are undergoing treatment. After the collision of the bus overturned and caught fire. The police have registered a case and are investigating the accident. All right, on to sports now. An unbeaten century from veteran Dean Elgar and 50 on debut from David Bedingham allowed South Africa to take an 11-run lead with 5 wickets in hand over India, with bad light ended play on second day of the first test at Centurion. The 36-year-old Elgar played one of the best innings of his long career as he scored an innovative 140 not out to help the hosts to 256 for 5 in reply to India's first innings total of 245. He will resume on Thursday with Marco Jansen, who has 3, with South Africa seeking to build a substantive lead. Elgar played some unusually flamboyant front foot strokes in a chanceless innings against a fearsome attack on a track set up for the Seabirds. He brought up his ton in 140 balls and featured in 2 important partnerships. First, 93 runs for the second wicket with Tony Zorzi, which set a good foundation, and then 131 with Bedingham for the 4th wicket. The 29-year-old Bedingham looked assured and confident on debut as he scored 56 before being bowled by Mohammad Siraj, who finished the day with figures of 2 for 63. Jasprit Bumrah also took 2 wickets, squaring up Zorzi for 28 and forcing a thick edge to 3rd slip, and then bowling Keegan Peterson for 2. The Indian women's cricket team faces Australia in the first one-day international match in Mumbai on Thursday. The Indian team, under the captaincy of Harmanpreet Kaur, will look to take the lead in the 3-match series. The next 2 ODIs will be played on December 30th and January 2nd, respectively. The action will now shift to Navi Mumbai, which will host the 3 T20 internationals in January, that is from January 5th to 7th January. That is 5th, 7th and 9th January, respectively. In fact, the 3 matches will be played. Australian team, headed by Eliza Healy, boasts a formidable lineup, including Elise Perry, Ashley Gardner and Jess Jonathan. Australian women have consistently outperformed Indian women in ODIs, winning 40 out of their 50 encounters. The women in blue registered an 8-wicket win on Saturday to clinch their first ever test win against Australia. That's it in this edition of DD India Live, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. You can connect with us on Facebook, X and also Instagram. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Preeti Gaur signing off, and from all of us here in Delhi, thanks for watching DD India Live.